I just, like I said before, all I was saying, there was no reason to hide it. I mean, like, I, for one, have gained weight down here. I mean, regardless of what I'm eating, I mean, I didn't necessarily like it all the time, but I didn't like it, you know, when I was in the States all the time either. And what does it matter, you know? There's so many good things happening down, you know, with do the killing. And I knew of that gun. I knew of the 2 shotguns we tried to get licensed for. We did get licensed for, and we were trying to get licensed for others. And I never knew if these licenses came through.
How many guns were there? How many guns were there altogether?
And where did they come from?
All that I knew of were at the I think I knew for sure of. I saw 3, and I was reasonably sure that they were licensed, and you know.
You knew nothing of the cache of automatic weapons?
No, I did not.
Why was it necessary for your father to have approximately $1.5 million in cash and gold and checks?
It was. I don't see how it could be necessary at all, and I didn't know anything about it. And it's made me more aggravated that you know there could have been a lot more for a lot of people with if that money would have been used.
You know, were you familiar with the term white knight?
Yes, I was. It was.
What have you done locally to ensure that those people who escape will not be in fear or harmed by the remnants of the People's Temple? Have you done anything? Are there any extremist elements here? It seems to me that since this was a headquarters, that certain tried and true men would be here, and that some of these people might well be in fearful of their lives still, even though they supposedly escaped, because some of them were pursued into the jungle. It was rifle fire in the jungle.
I understand what you're saying, and I'm worried that they will think that, and we haven't been able to do much of anything. We're kind of isolated, and I'm trying. I can assure you that I'm trying. I want to get through to these people because I do want to help them, because I feel a lot of guilt that I didn't, although I didn't really see any way that I could stop it without causing, something to happen. I was trying. I didn't see it, I didn't see it coming.
Were you in radio contact with Jonestown from Namaha Gardens?
Excuse me?
Were you in radio contact with Jonestown from Namaha Gardens?
No.
How did you know what was happening?
Do you know if Sharon received a late night call from Jonestown?
I know that she was taking traffic, and I was gone at the time, and I came back, and she had done it. People ran out to me and told me what had happened.
There were a lot of people in the house.
Yes, but they, I mean, you can't expect people to think that somebody's going to take these children were beautiful. I can only describe them as beautiful. And you can no way that, we could imagine that she would take them up and do what she did. I mean,
Yeah.
they were there, but God, would you imagine it? I mean, could you?
Is this Maria Caceres you're talking about?
No,
Sharon
Amos. Sharon Amos,
Oh, Sharon.
with her children.
Maria Caceres apparently killed John Vincent Stone and Chemo folks, the 2 children who lived with your father.
I don't know. I didn't know that.
This is information that you're giving us now. This is fact. We've not heard
See,
anything.
all we know about is what's come over the news here.
Did John Timothy Stone live with your father and mother being John physically in the house?
My mother did not live with my father. She lived separately. And Chemo and John did live up there with him, and we were led to believe, and I don't care if they were or not. I love them very much, but we were led to believe that they were, his sons, on one side. And there's no way I was not a witness to the sexual act, so there's no way I could know. But all I can say is that I love them very much. They were like little brothers to me, because I never had a little brother. My little brother is 2 years younger than me, and he's bigger than I am. And I tried as best as I could to care for him and give them the fatherly attention that they never got.
Their name, I think it was Blakey, who gave the deposition in California in the Stone custody case. And she testified at that time, was admitted to court here in Guyana, that Maria Caceres had one time given these 2 children sleeping pills because she didn't want to kill them when they were awake and thought it'd be easier when she killed them, if there ever came a time she'd have to kill them, like apparently what took place Saturday. Is that beyond your realm of comprehension?
I didn't know that. I didn't. I mean, I can only tell you that, you know, I mean, these are like if you had two little sons to me, and I would never have stood for that, and they knew I wouldn't, and anybody who's out there know that it was a conflict between me and my dad and anyone directly involved with him, you know, and it was a very tight situation. I would never have stood for that if I would have known that would happen.
You indicated your mother was a fairly strong-willed woman who was completely and rationally aware of your father's condition, even to have something approaching paranoia with drugs and everything else. You even suggest that in that last moment of mother, there might have been an argument going on at the last act of both their lives. And yet she apparently, and excuse me for, you know, I understand your grief and what you've been through, but she apparently took sides.
Like I said before, the only reason she told me many times, you know, because she had been hurt many times, you know, and you know we all have because of what we believed in and everything. But the only reason she lived is for me, and myself and my brothers. And all I can think is that, you know, she thought that we were gone.
I can only say to that, to his question there. Pardon?
The radio wasn't working? I understand you have a radio.
It was intermittently, and had it been, I would not have known because I wasn't there that often to know whether it was or not. But had, you know, because there might not have been, and if there had been intermittent communication, she might have assumed that all was lost here. You know, if there had been any communication, you know, that she and his dad were going to kill themselves.
How many people are left here?
40-some.
40? How many are members of the basketball team?
11 are basketball players, and we have a trainer and a coach.
Is it true that the basketball team was in fact the group that was trained to be the marksman for People's Temple?
No,
It's not true.
no, it's not.
It's not true that the basketball team practiced with the 30 or 40 weapons, hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition per pound.
If we had practiced with these weapons, and if we were the ones that, you know, designated to do this, why would we be sent to town?
Was it the conflict between you and your father that resulted in your being sent to Jonestown?
It could be. I don't know. I know that I wanted to play basketball. I wanted to prove that we could leave, and I felt we were good, and I wanted to play.
Steve, how many of your members are being detained at Lamar Gardens, and how many by the government and some other facilities?
I think all of us that are here are being detained. You know, we're in Georgetown house when this happened, and it's about 46, I guess. I have a list. I have a list of.
The Georgetown house, right?
Excuse me?
Not all the Georgetown house.
Yes.
Every 46 people in the Georgetown house?
That's right.
No others, as far as you know, are being detained in police headquarters?
I don't know anything that's going on.
Isn't
Do
it
you
true,
think the
Steve,
conflict
that
with your father would have resulted in your death?
Excuse me?
Do you think the conflict with your father would have resulted in your death at any time?
No. I think he was scared of me.
Do you think that is what pushed him? He felt he would have been ousted of the leadership, and that is what pushed him in his desperate act?
I can't say. I don't want to make.
Your father's illness, by any means, was not a terminal illness. He didn't think he was going to die. Did he talk about his death because of these health reasons and drugs and everything?
He talked about, you know, everything. You know,
I mean, specifically that. I mean, he talked about everything. Did he think he was a dying man?
I don't know if he said he did, but I don't know if he really thought it. I don't know that. He listed a number of illnesses, you know, and I'm no doctor.
Shaq treated him?
Yes, but I would say that he treated himself. You know.
What were some of the illnesses
that he
There was no. I know he, you know, claimed trouble with his heart. I can't think of the low blood sugar or high blood sugar. I don't know which it was. You know.
What'd your father think about death? You in your position, was that his, that you're nothing? Was he frightened of death? Was he? I mean, it's a normal human trait to
right.
You know, give those considerations.
He claimed he was afraid of nothing, which I know is bull. He's a very frightened man. He claimed that I don't know. He had no ego, which is the total opposite. He had one of the biggest egos I've ever seen in my life. But I think he was That's another reason. I felt he did so much, you know, I felt he feared for his life so much that he would never do anything like this.
Steve, isn't it true that it was discussed among the top leadership that if this should come to pass, some people from Jonestown would then go to some who were decided who would live would go to the States to kill the certain people who were on a list of enemies of the church?
As I said before, he never really let me in on the decision making because I was, I guess what you might say, too contrary. You know, I believed in doing what we were doing at the time and leave all this.
Have you heard any stories to this effect?
No, I mean, no.
You've never heard that?
Steve,
I've heard.
You said he never let you in on the decision making. A little earlier, you said that you had gradually eased him out of the decision making. Who was making the decisions here?
When I say the decision making, I mean in the total, the working of the compound, right? You know, different, you know, facets of it. You know, like agriculture. You had construction. You had and you know, medical. You had everything, and everybody. There were, you know, there were departments, department heads, and then there was heads of that. You know, it was like a little government. And
Has the government of Guyana informed you or indicated to you your status? Has anyone indicated their possible criminal charges pending
no, they
or
haven't.
deportations?
No, they haven't.
They've just asked you questions and you tried to speak.
Steve, how close was your father to Mr. Reed,
Mr.
Mr. Reed, Vice Premier of Guyana?
I don't know. He complimented the man many times.
And your father saw him from time to time in Jonestown? Or
Not in
here
Jonestown. I don't even know that. I was rarely in Georgetown. Did he meet me? I don't.
He had met with him, but and I was present at those meetings, and I can say at those meetings he presented People's Temple as what People's Temple stood for: nonviolent, racially equal, economically equal, socially equal, in the community that it was basically built to be. And at that time that he presented himself, he presented the best parts of People's Temple, and not the insane aspect of his personality.
Steve, under normal circumstances, it is almost impossible in Guyana for a foreigner to get land.
I didn't know that it wasn't. I didn't know that.
There's not such a large lease. The lease was 3,000 acres, I believe.
Which, considering the land mass here.
No, it was not. It was not. It was not 28,000 because I was directly involved with the lease. It was set on a basis of I forget the word. You know, if we needed more land, it could be developed instead of having to drive 10 miles up a road. You know, it was designed so that if the farm spread in such a way that it could be used, but it was not leased to us per se.
You had an option of 27,000 acres.
Well, it was an option that it was the government determined whether we would have it. I mean, it was,
Were there ever religious ceremonies?
There were get-togethers. You know, what I might say, joyous get-togethers. You know, everybody kind of did their thing. You know.
Like what, for instance, what would you do at the get-together?
Singing. We had performances. You know, we had a good band, and.
But Steve, wasn't it true that most nights your father would, from about 9 o'clock until 2 or 3 in the morning, whenever he finally got tired, would basically all the people had to come and sit in the pavilion and listen to him sort of talk and talk and talk and talk for hours?
And he required a lot of, you know, teaching, not necessarily from him, but different classes, you know, current events, you know, we had.
Wasn't it true that people 70 and 80 years old were forced to sit up half the night listening to this? And if they fell asleep, the security guards would come over and poke them with a gun or with a...
No, that's not true. It's true that there were times that people were kept up to, you know, unheard of hours, you know, and it makes it sound like I condone it. I didn't, but you have to put yourself in my spot. You know, what am I to do? I'm only 19 years of age. What am I to do? Debbie Blakey, I understand why she left. I understand her feelings. But what has she accomplished? Nothing, you know, and I wanted to do the same thing she did, stop it. But did she accomplish anything? Did any of the people that have left, you know, understandably so, but have they accomplished anything?
Could you explain why your father was so upset with the possibility of members leaving?
No. Like I said before, he had a tremendous ego.
Yeah,
I consider that felt that we were doing a good thing, you know.
Was there a tendency to violence among any of the members, which would lead you to believe that they may go out and do ill to the temple?
Tendency to violence. I know myself committing murder or, you know, hurting anyone that had not, you know, hurt me. And no, I think for the most part, like one thing that was remarkable to me was the relationship between young men my age. You know, in the States it was like prove yourself, right? And here we didn't have that. You know.
But was anybody prevented from before?
There was never any physical prevention, but I can say that there was an atmosphere there. I mean, it was like
Steve, could you describe the extra care unit?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Isn't it true that anyone who tried to leave was caught and brought back and put on drugs for a long period of time?
If that is true, I didn't know. I didn't know about it. I know a young man that I took care of and cared a lot about. Vincent Lopez, at one time, he wasn't even leaving. I mean, he was a young kid, and I've done it before, wanted attention, you know, and, you know, he had no one, and I had said something to him, you know, I had gotten mad with him because he had a lot of bad patterns, you know, that he brought over, a lot of, you know, he stole a lot and stuff, and he left, you know, and he was brought back, and we were all put under the impression that he was sick, you know, he'd been bitten by something. And he was, you know, taken to the, what we call intensive care, you know, people that had high temperatures and stuff like that. And if that happened, you know, I didn't know about it.
Was the male censored?
Excuse me?
Was the male censored?
I never got any mail. I don't have that many relatives outside. But
mail they used in the mailing address in Georgetown, you were supposed to get it here and deliver it, okay?
No,
there are lots of people that say that the mail was censored, both in and out.
I don't doubt that, but I can assure you, sir, I was not in on what happened here. I came here to play basketball, and I don't doubt that there was a lot of, you know, I'm doing the best I can, and I understand your problem.
Stephen, who kept the passports? Who physically had control of the passports?
I don't know that. I know that one time Joyce Touchette, you know, recorded information, you know, necessary information of who was there, their age, you know, and different things like that, so we could, you know.
Under what conditions did they come?
Who?
Under what conditions did they come?
What do you mean?
They flew, they came in.
Did they have to sign any documents? Did they have to make any promises? Did they give any money?
Not that I know
We
of.
all came at our own fruition.
You know, more and more, all I can say is I wouldn't doubt it, but I can tell you.
You never heard about a tape recording of a interlude between the Guyanese official in Washington and someone from the temple? We've been told that there was this was something that was pretty well known.
I have never heard that, but I can tell you there was like, you know, he read a lot of books, and I think he tried to live through his books, and he played a lot of games, but I just felt like, you know, let him play his little games and, you know, just stay away, and I'm going to do what I can here and build what I can here. And if he did it, I don't doubt it, you know. There's a lot of game playing, there's a lot of unnecessary, you know, stuff done, but
why would you
he has taught me is now in my mind, in my body. It's not any kind of thing that I read and I follow, you know, it's just what I feel, you know. I know what I feel is wrong and what I feel is right. And I think he knew basically, you know, what was wrong and right. I just think that he became obsessed, you know, with his ego, with his power. There were a lot of women that were just, that worshipped him, you know. And I think he thought he was something. She felt very hurt. See, this is what originally, you know, many years ago separated me and my father, because I love my mother very much. She was a very loving and understanding person, and I think anybody that's encountered her can testify to that. And I think she she knew she had something to do. She was head of, the medical department, and she was, everybody loved her, and she was just trying to get something done, and she knew that if she were to dwell on what he did, there was no way, there was no way that we could get done what we wanted, to accomplish. And I think it hurt her, but I think, she got over it.
Odell Rhodes said that at the suicide, when Shaq made the portion, that used the word nurses, passed out the portion. Were there many nurses up there, or was your mother the nurse?